All right, music fans, welcome. Harmless Dave. Remember the name Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you and just like me. All right, here was a band that had the courage to actually do an interview with me. Kinfo. I guess it takes a lot of courage to come on and talk to me because I'm so controversial, right? This is a cool band from West Texas. Really dig their music. They claim they're a cross between Charlie Daniels and Alabama. I've had some people say maybe not, but um, regardless, this music is fantastic. Sunny in 72. When I'm when I'm in a bad mood, Sunny in 72 seems to work for me. So I was in a bad mood yesterday because I reached out to this legendary rock band. And this band is from Canada. All right. I'm not, you'll figure it out. And they have one original member, the drummer. Okay. They released a single 5 days ago, and I really liked it. And I was really enthusiastic about it. In fact, I was about to drop a standalone video, which I don't typically do anymore, about this song. I was just like, wow. Uh, it really was kind of like Crosby. It's like Crosby, Stills, and Nash a bit, um, with bits of like Cheap Trick and the Beatles, and it's got a lot of different things going on. Again, this is a legendary rock band from Canada. So I reached out and I asked, "Hey, would you guys want to do an interview?" What I got back was, "You're condescending. Your reputation precedes you." And I'm thinking, harmless Dave. So I wasn't going to talk to them about Target or Bud Light or some of the ridiculous things going on in the culture. My guess is either they don't care about that stuff, which is fine. This is what happens when you mix politics with music. But it's okay, though, for politicians to support certain musicians who believe in their cause or vice versa. It's okay to have a little Ukrainian flag on your profile picture or a little rainbow, or whatever it is that you're doing for the month of June. Yeah. It's Alzheimer's Awareness Month, alz.org. So check that out if you want to help a worthy cause during the month of June. So it was bizarre because I had really good intentions. My intention was, hey, let's do an interview, and we'll talk about this music. We'll talk about the legacy of the band. I had kind of an outline of what I wanted to do, but I didn't get to first base here. I was called out on strikes before I even picked up the bat. It's okay. It's cool. I mean, this happened, I think, with Steve Augeri's people, who I reached out and I sent them an example of an interview with somebody, and it was first interview I did with Eric Clapton, and their person came back and said, "Oh, he's crazy. You support him? Well, it was kind of cool that he did an interview with you, but we'll get back to you." You know, so I send them an A-list person that I've interviewed, A+ list person. And because their politics, their philosophy doesn't, and again, I wasn't going to ask Steve Augeri about what he thought of Dr. Anthony Fauci. I mean, I thought we would hit it off and have a great conversation. Nope, not going to happen. Same thing here. I thought, hey, I like good music. They're making some good music. And I get a lot of pushback, by the way, from people who want the original band, who miss the original band. And I'm starting to get that maybe in a different way. Maybe these guys shouldn't have the rights to continue a legacy which apparently they're not even willing to promote, because I'm political or I have a different political view. This is really bizarre because, again, I wasn't going to talk about politics, but my reputation out there, people want to know. They'll ask me, you should do an interview with so-and-so. A couple of times I reached out to people that other people had recommended that I speak with, and it was either crickets or we'll get back to you or no thanks or, we've got things to do. We don't have enough time to really talk to you. Sorry. And honestly, folks, this is the path I chose, right? So first things first here, I'm not going to change. And the damage has already been done anyway. My reputation, apparently, even though I'm one of the few people out here that promote new stuff almost on every video. So you know what's interesting, right? So I've got this friendship with Modern Retro Radio. And this is true. This is true. I told him about the song that I was really excited about by this Canadian band who apparently doesn't want to have anything to do with me. And they really liked the song. They're like, wow, this is great. We're going to put this into rotation. So I had a radio station. I don't care what you think of internet radio. You're not going to get terrestrial radio stations to add any of these songs. And so he was excited about the song. I told him about what happened. And he said, well, forget it then. Forget it. Because if they're going to be that ridiculous and that petty, then we don't have to add the song. And this is a radio station that plays new material by classic artists. I told them to add the new Uriah Heep song instead, and I think they're probably going to do that. So why am I pointing this out to people? Because people, especially on Patreon and, in other places where I'm accessible, they'll say, how come you don't interview this guy? Or how come your channel is the way it is? And how come you turn comments off and so forth? Because apparently I'm not appreciated. And even hated or disliked. I adopted the Harmless Dave thing, and I started to just wonder, does my family like me? Do the people I meet in person? I mean, this person who, clapped back at me, they don't know me. They don't personally know me. I've never spoken to anybody in this organization before. I've never requested an interview. I've never posted on their page or anything like that. The one time I do, though, I'm public enemy number one. My reputation. All right. Look, open invitation, by the way, to any artist who wants to interview with me. I'll talk about music. We don't have to talk about Target, okay, or Bud Light or any of these other ridiculous things that are going on that from time to time I will do commentary on. I'm not like all of these other unicorn, rainbows type people out there who are just going to stick to that one way of doing things. As I've said, the classic rock world, the melodic rock world, is in descendancy. It's not in ascendancy. It's declining. And so wherever there's a little glimmer of hope here and there, whether it's a new band or a band like these guys who really, again, had their heyday in the 60s and 70s, I'm willing to go out there and say, hey, despite the fact that people are saying this sounds nothing like the original band, and maybe you guys shouldn't have this name, and maybe you shouldn't be carrying on, I'm going to say, hey, the music is really good. Give it a chance. And I have about a 50-50 split. I'll have people say, yeah, you're right about the song, but it doesn't sound like the original band. And so I get that point totally. In this case, I had good intentions. So this is kind of what I'm up against, and I'm up against the algorithm, because I'm not going along with the lemmings and the culture, and that includes the music industry. 98% of the articles that get out there are all supportive of all of this cultural destruction that we're seeing, probably a higher percentage. And if there's one person like Paul Stanley, of course, then he retracted everything and he's still trying to apologize and explain what he said. There's one person, they get destroyed. And it's totally ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. And so, again, I don't have the greatest reach on this channel, 67,000 subscribers, not horrible, not the best, but not horrible. You would think in this circumstance that people, even if they didn't like me, might hold their nose and say, yeah, let's do an interview with a guy. We'll just tell him we don't want to talk about politics and that he and I will disagree on politics, but let's go out there and promote the music because that's what's most important. Nah, that's not what happened. The reaction really threw me for a loop. It really, because again, if people got to meet me in person or whatever and talk to me, I'm pretty easygoing. I am. I may disagree with you on politics, but I'm not somebody who's, going to fight to the death with you about something. If you disagree with me, you're probably wrong. Let's just put it that way. You're probably wrong, but that's okay. I can still hang out with you. Maybe. Depends on how vocal you are about certain issues. And I'm just going to be like, okay, well, we're just going to have to agree to disagree. Anyway, these guys, again, they were courageous because they came on and we had a great interview. And more people found out about this band because I did the interview. I'm not saying the interview went viral, but they were a pleasure to talk with. They didn't have any problems with my reputation prior to me asking if they would like to be on. In fact, they were very excited and enthusiastic. So hopefully in the future, maybe that's the way things will go. And if you want to listen to a radio station that aligns with your values, modernretrofm.com. Seriously, I think you should patronize a radio station like that, even if you don't like all the material that they're currently playing. I'm thinking mostly they're doing a great job, but there is always going to be a song that you may not agree with. It's tough being a program director. I used to be one, I know. So in any event, people, thanks for listening, because this was just a venting session. This doesn't really accomplish much for the channel. It just is very illustrative as far as what's going on. This is part of the culture war. We don't like you, so we're not going to talk to you. All right, well, I guess your album isn't going to get promoted then, because that's what I was going to do. And it was going to be no politics, but that's not going to happen. I still wish these guys well. They've got some good music, but whatever. That's all I could say. It's not as important as, talking to somebody who's maybe a little bit more famous or a little bit more interesting. I'll say that. And even if it's politics, people, there are moments where I look at the music world and I go, you know what? As much as I love music and it's a great escape, it's not more important than what's currently going on in the world right now. And people should be able to do both, but there are some people that either they disagree or they just don't want to talk about it. So there we are. That's my video. Exciting. See you soon.